Dr. Dispenza was born on the 22nd of March 1962. He studied biochemistry at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. He has a Bachelor's of Science degree with an emphasis on neuroscience from Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington. He also received his Doctor of Chiropractic degree at Life University in Atlanta, Georgia, graduating magna cum laude, that means with great distinction. Dr. Dispenza, post-graduating training and continuing education has been in neurology, neurophysiology, brain function and chemistry, cellular biology, memory formation, and aging and longevity. Over the last 10 years, Dr. Dispenza has lectured over 17 countries on the 6 continents, educating people about the role and function of the human brain. He has taught thousands of people to reprogram their thinking through scientifically proven neurophysiologic principles. And this information in results has helped many individuals to reach their goals and visions by eliminating their self-destructive habits. He explains how thinking in new ways and changing beliefs can literally rewire one's brain. His premise in this work is founded by his total conviction that every single person on this planet has within themselves the latent potentials of greatness and true unlimited abilities. Please continue watching to find a summary for one of his great books right after this. I am excited to introduce an interesting book from Dr. Dispenza, Evolve Your Brain, with its summary. Evolve Your Brain, a more than 500-page book, will open for your attention many topics. The science of changing your mind connects the subjects of thought and consciousness with the brain, the mind, and the body. The book explores the biology of change, that is, when we truly change our mind, there is a physical evidence of change in the brain. As an author of several scientific articles on those close relationship between the brain and the body, Dr. Dispenza ties information together to explain the roles these functions play in physical health and disease. Dr. Zhou began to explain how the brain evolves by learning new skills, developing the ability to concentrate in the midst of chaos, and even healing the body and the psyche. And the book presents this information in depth while helping you take control of your mind, explaining how thoughts can create chemical reactions that keep you addicted to patterns and feelings, including ones that make you unhappy. And when you know how these bad habits are created, it's possible to not only break these patterns, but also reprogram and evolve your brain so that new, positive, and beneficial habits can take over. One of great comments received for the book is, Dispenza gives you the tools to make real changes in your life. From William Arndt, producer, director of What the Beep Do We Know? At the very beginning, Dr. Dispenza shared a story of personal transformation, an experience he had 20 years before publishing this book that inspired him to investigate the power of the brain to alter our life. In this part, you will have a chance to get to know and see how he could recover from a fact of certain bone fragments on his spinal cords around the fracture T8 vertebra to be able to get up and walk right back into his life at 9.5 weeks. And at 10 weeks, he returned to work, seeing patients and enjoying his freedom. Next, by introducing Neuroanatomy, he helps us understand details of human brain, including our reptilian brain, mammalian or limbic brain, neo-mammalian or new brain, and more, as a fundamental to lead us to understand what happens in our mind when we think, genetically, neurophysiology, and chemically, what happens in our body when we feel, and he also lets us know that we have a latent potential power to radically change our life and evolve our brain. Afterward, Dr. Dispenza gets us understand more about neuroplasticity. That means how knowledge and experience change and evolve the brain. Or in other words, we will know, in principle, how to get the brain evolved by learning new knowledge with total attention, having new experiences to gain wisdom. Going a bit deeper to the so-called learning with the law of association, the so-called remembering with the law of repetition. One important message will catch our attention through the whole book is nerve cells that fire together, wire together, and then neurons that repeatedly fire together, wire together more strongly. You will definitely find scientific explanation on how we become who we are, and of course, get clear suggestions for ways to overcome the currently annoying, incomplete, or negative states of who we are. If you are having a concern of how our environment shapes our thinking, for instance, how seeing someone who reminded you of someone else to feeling unloved and unworthy is a journey that many of us take on a daily basis. You will find Dr. Joe's analysis on it in this book as well. You may want to have something nice and beautiful than normal things, but you may not be aware that you keep playing the same programs in your mind. Then reading this book might bring you to knowledge and awareness to break the routine patterns and urge you to take actions toward new and nicely surprised events for you. If you are in need of some motivation for changes, pages in this book with illustration on our human changing mechanism offers you steps to make changes you want. We also have a chance to look at stress with the fast track of neurological response and the slow track of the chemical response. We may have to face physical stress, chemical stresses, and emotional or psychological stresses. We will get to know harms that those types of stress cause to our physical health, mental and emotional health, especially chronic stress. Many of us easily find it hard to break up. We will be explaining in this book how this is happening inside us. We may get used to the sentence, "It's always easier said than done," because change is difficult and uncomfortable. Dr. Dispenza helps us understand that being in survival mode is not evolving our brain. He gives us a closer look at how we can break our cycle of repetitive feeling. By learning all of the new information, we are taking the first step toward emerging from a life of the routine and familiar we have in our possession, ready at our disposal, an island of calm in a sea of turbulence. We will get to know the importance of our frontal lobe, the most highly evolved area of the human nervous system. We will think greater than how we feel, and the frontal lobe helps us focus our concentrated attention and primarily separate us from other species. At times in our life, we might have envisioned something vividly out of excitement before that happened in reality. And we may not be aware that it's called mental rehearsal. Dr. Dispenza will put into words the art and science of mental rehearsal. What if we seek out a quiet place each morning after the kids have gone off to school, mentally rehearse what this new patient person would be like, and we decide that we are not going to get up from each mental workout until we completely attain the state of being called patience. We will get to know how our body heals from disease when we finally overcome our emotional addictions. Process of change will be illustrated for your knowledge, and then success may frighten us if we like our comfort and familiarity. Dr. Dispenza also shows us the crucial steps of demonstration, from mental rehearsal to personal evolution. We can't help evolving ourselves if we don't execute thinking, doing, and being. We will find this at almost the end of the book. Finally, Dr. Dispenza ends the book by opening a bit about quantum change, quantum physics, that unifying matter and energy was a giant leap forward in understanding the nature of reality. So we have conclusion. The implications for evolving our brain are extraordinary. If we think in new and different ways, we are altering our future. If we can go from thinking to doing to being by implementing the processes of focusing our attention, using mental rehearsal, and employing the tools of knowledge, instruction, and feedback, and if we can demonstrate our intent and act upon it, we are no longer riding upon the backs of giants. We are the giant. We will no longer live in stress, as there is nothing to be stressed about when we know the end results of our thoughts, means we know our future. When we can trust ourselves, our mind, and the quantum field of infinite potentials, we are freed from our primitive survival mode state of mind. There will be no fear of the unknown or the unpredictable, because our mind has already created the outcome in our environment, and the environment is now a product or reflection of our mind, which has already experienced and recorded the events to come. If you like the summary, please give it a like and comment. Also, do not forget to subscribe for the channel. Bye and see you next time.